White House, 2 West Virginia National Guard members shot. They are now in critical condition. Authorities say the suspect, who was also wounded and is in custody, intentionally targeted those Guard members. However, sources say the motive for the shooting itself is unclear at this hour. Joining me now, Senator Jim Justice, Republican from West Virginia. Senator, we appreciate you taking the time. Can you share with us any updates that you may have received when it comes to the condition of these 2 Guardsmen or even the investigation?
Erica, I can't. All I know is they're in critical condition, and all of us in West Virginia are praying real hard right now, and because we just think it's tragic beyond belief. I had so many opportunities to be with the National Guard as the governor, and whether it be bad windstorms or floods, and waded mud with them, and just saw just how wonderful they are. I mean, they're heroes, they're warriors, but they're also brothers and sisters, and absolutely they're husbands and wives, and they give so much to all of us. It's off the chart. And so I can never say enough for them. They're the greatest of the greatest in my book. And we just got to keep these 2 wonderful people in our prayers, that they're going to be okay some way, somehow.
Do you have any information of where they may have been from, or have you been able to be in contact with their families at all?
I have not. I have not. In fact, forgive my dress. I've been out and just got back, and some way, I found out about it probably less than 2 hours ago. So I have not been in contact with the families, and so I mean, I can't, Erica, I cannot express just any more than just this, and that is simply, we deserve to be safe in our cities. We deserve to be safe in our homes. All our president is trying to do is reduce the crime. And absolutely all of us should celebrate that, but yet this is such a heinous act. It's off the chart to me.
It is terrible. It is important to note we don't, at this hour, while we were told by officials they believe it was targeted, we do not know of a motive, but we do know that there is a suspect in custody, according to authorities. The president has requested 500 additional National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. in the wake of this attack. Do you know if West Virginia would send any more troops?
Well, I would hope they would. It's really tough, but these men and women step up, don't they? And they're here for all of us all the time. And so I know West Virginia would. I even pray for our governor, Patrick Morrissey, his wife Denise, and everything, because it's tough with them. But I can't tell you the times that General Hoyer and General Crane that I worked with all the time at the Guard, the unbelievable stuff we did with COVID, and like I said, the worst thing of all, we waded all kinds of mud in a 2016 flood. And at that time, really what happened was we hunted bodies. At the Greenbrier Hotel, we found 3 bodies on our golf courses. And then we hunted a little 14-year-old girl, Michaela Phillips, and everything for 6 weeks, and found her 5 miles downstream. The National Guard's unbelievable, Erica. And so they've done so much good, and they'll step up again if called upon.
Senator, when we look at this, as you noted, if they are called upon, one former FBI executive who was on our air a short time ago raised some concerns about sending more troops to the streets of Washington, D.C. in the early hours of this attack, concerned that they could be targets. Do you believe that's a well-founded concern?
We can't be afraid. We're looking to make things safer, and we can't be afraid. Erica, I just know that they'll step up and if called upon. And so we'll wait and see what happens. It's a little premature to see what's going to happen in regard to that. But, I was asked a question not long ago in a little town of Beckley, West Virginia, where I grew up. Supposedly the crime in Beckley, West Virginia is pretty doggone bad. And someone asked me, he said, would you be in favor of putting some National Guard members there and everything, because the high crime rate there, and maybe that could settle down? I said, you're daggum right. I mean, really and truly, we deserve to be safe in this country. And so let's just try to dwell on that. I mean, that's all our National Guard is trying to do. Just help us with some of these terrible crimes that are going on all the time, and dial down the temperature and make things better for all of us.
And what is your message? I believe there are about 160 National Guardsmen from West Virginia who are currently serving in the nation's capital. What is your message to them and also to their families tonight?
Well, it's really tough, and if I don't watch out, I'm gonna tear up and everything. But it's really tough, and of all things, it's Thanksgiving, and to just think, I mean, probably, you know, our hunting seasons are in West Virginia now, and it may very well be that these two young men were looking to come home to maybe go with their dads or whatever like that and go hunting. I don't know that to be the case, but it is just a horrible situation for those families and all of us, all those 160 plus, and all of us. Will absolutely be right with those families. They've got to remember there's no way they're alone. But with all that being said, it's really tough. I mean, this is a really tough one right here.
Senator, before I let you go, these situations are certainly in the early hours can be very fluid. We know there was some initial information that the governor had, which he then had to retract. I'm wondering, what is your level of information? And have you heard, for example, from the president or from the administration?
No, I've not heard from the president yet, but I've heard from lots of folks and everything. And I'm sure that Governor Morrisey felt like he had really good information and everything. And sometimes it's a little better to wait, but nevertheless, we want, his responsibility as the governor is to get out in front of things and speak to the people, and comfort the people. And I'm sure he's trying to do exactly just that.
West Virginia Senator Jim Justice, thank you for joining us tonight, sir.
No, thank all y'all. God bless.